Hello and welcome to Nintendo Pals Podcast episode 131. Tonight, we recast Star Wars with Nintendo characters. And by we, I mean myself and the crew of All In, a Nintendo podcast, joined by Seth and Eric. And we are going to be using the Force to determine the best characters for the characters in Star Wars from Nintendo. Let's just, talk all that and more. Greetings, fellow Nintendo Pals. My name is Andross, and I am one of the hosts of the Nintendo Pals Podcast, the show all about Nintendo and friendship. And speaking of friendship, I have two of the coolest dudes on the internet here with me, my good friends from the All In Podcast, Seth.
That's me. Hi.
And Eric.
Oh, that's me. Okay, cool.
Eric and Seth. Guys, yep. I gotta ask, how the heck are you?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you asking. And right here at the beginning of the episode, I'm just going to go ahead and throw down the gauntlet because we are going to be talking so much about Nintendo and Star Wars here in this episode. I'm going to throw down the gauntlet and see who on this show and even in chat can inject the best Star Wars and Nintendo pun into the conversation. There's so much potential there for some really good, the forces with Chew, like Choo Choo Rocket, There's
a lot of potential to like Chew jellies from Zelda with that one.
Maybe I was as well. So, let's see who can come up with the best Nintendo and Star Wars pun in this episode.
Don't make them too forced. Don't try to link them together too hard.
Wow.
But I will just say too, in response to how I'm doing, pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for these puns. It'll be just like Beggar's Canyon back home.
Yeah,
I'm pretty pumped for it.
Yeah, we actually just finished episode 139 of All In, a Nintendo podcast, which by the time you're listening to this should be up and available on your podcast feeds wherever you get your podcasts from. So if you like our shenaniganry in this episode, maybe go ahead and check our show out.
Yes. And I'll give you guys time to plug your stuff at the end here as well. But for those that don't know, All In, Nintendo Podcast, is a weekly variety show where no shell is left unturned and no point is left unearned. That show is fantastic. The guys over there do really creative segments, the guys being you guys. I'm talking to everybody else, not you guys specifically. And if you aren't already listening to that show, do it. It's definitely one of the top Nintendo podcasts on the internet. Am I missing anything here, guys? What?
I will just say, I think you're probably the third person ever on the planet to say no shell left unturned, no point left unearned. I don't think anybody else has said that other than Eric and I.
I this week got to guest on the Nintendo Dads, and I got to do the intro. They let me do the intro, and I was like, dream come true. And I'm like, I want to go on every podcast, because I listen to so many Nintendo podcasts that I know the lingo, the lore, the bits. And I'm like, I could go on there and do it. Not that I could do it better, but I want to go on and do it with you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You can do something. You could do it.
Yeah,
whatever.
I'll do anything. I'm
shout out to Sam here in the chat. You underestimate my Nintendo power.
Well, before we jump into the Nintendo power and we start, we start casting characters. I got to ask you guys, what is an unpopular opinion that you have? Now, this is a new thing I do at the start of every episode. I ask a random question to the people I'm guessing.
Specifically about Nintendo?
It can be. Might make sense to do that, but you don't have to. It's the question.
Opinion I have, one that's actually been brought up on our show a couple times, and Seth and I have had a little bit of a conversation about this, but I think the Castlevania Netflix series was actually kind of naffed.
Oh,
naffed?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
Not good.
Oh, okay.
We did have a conversation about this because I completely disagree. I really like that show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, naffed is a new one on me too. Was that one of those British?
Is
that like a British term? Yeah,
it is.
That's fair. It's a new one on
third
me.
strongest smallest guy.
I'm trying to expand. It's 2023.
Yeah, let's do it.
And all that stuff. Trying to expand my vocabulary. Trying to speak new languages. I'm dumb, so I'm starting slow.
This
I'm starting with
this
British.
Is like Fetch. This is like Fetch with Mean Girls. Like, stop trying to make naft happen.
I said it once.
Let's keep track. Let's keep a naft counter.
Oh man,
you've said it more times than I have now.
True. Yeah, fair.
Seth, how about you? You got an unpopular opinion.
Sam agrees with me.
Unpopular opinion from Seth.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I feel like my unpopular opinions are sort of things that I've like, I don't know, held publicly and vocally for a while. I can't make myself hate Superman 64. That's one that I'm kind of known for at this point. Not because I think it's a good game, but because that game was really special to me as a kid. Like, that game let me fly around as Superman, and that was enough for me. And so I kind of low-key love the game that everybody thinks is the worst game ever made. And I'll still turn it on and just fly around. It's not a good game, but like, it let me be Superman, and that was enough for me when I was a kid.
And just for his sake, I kind of hope it gets added to the NSO.
I would legitimately love that. Not because
I know you would.
Not because people I'd be like, see, you're all proven wrong. It was actually good this whole time. No, it's a bad game. I get it. But again, I just
good and enjoyable are two different things.
Let me fly as Superman, and I think that it really speaks to my just general feeling about video games, that video games are more than just the objective sum of their parts. They're more than just, the level design isn't good, and there's fog all over the city, and the flight controls this or that. Sometimes a game can mean I'm a kid flying around as Superman, and that's why I love it. It can just be that sometimes, So, yeah, I guess I would go with that one. Banjo-Kazooie's better than Mario 64. That's sometimes gotten me some flack.
Well, apparently Nick Offerman agrees with you on that.
Nick Offerman agrees, so
yeah,
I've gotten flack for that.
I'll give you flack for that. That's a bad opinion, but it's good. It's okay. Banjo-Kazooie's good. It's good.
It's very good.
It's very good.
It is very good. While you guys have been talking, I'm trying to think of an opinion. Like
Halo 2 is the best Halo game. I mean,
I asked the question.
I actually have a lot of really good Halo 2 memories. I did an entire playthrough of that game with my, at the time, friend who wound up becoming my brother-in-law. We actually did a full co-op playthrough of Halo 2 in a single sitting. I actually have very good memories of Halo 2.
It's not even close.
The Arbiter... You were talking about hot video game takes. I'm going to go away from the world of Nintendo for 2 seconds. You want to talk about hot video game takes? Arbiter is 100 times better character than Master Chief.
I like Arbiter. I like Arbiter a lot.
Way better. Yeah, no question.
Yeah, he should come back as like. There should just be a whole game on him.
Playable character in Killer Instinct, actually.
Yeah, true.
I liked Kirby Clash Deluxe.
I liked that. Yeah,
I love how meek that was.
I mean, I feel like everybody ever that I played that with or talked to about it was like, this game is not good. And I was I liked it. I really liked it.
I never put too much time into it. I'll play most Kirby games because, Kirby, but I didn't really ever put too much time into that one. I don't have friends.
I don't either. I played it by myself with you, but I think it's really fun. I think it's really good. I played it on the 3DS for the original, and then it came over as like a random port, and I liked it both times. Played quite a bit of that. Obviously, there's Plock, which I think is super underrated, but I think most people that play that game do think it's it's got charm and think it's good.
People actually play it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of people that ironically love it due to us and Retro Logic rallying around.
But they haven't actually played it.
But they haven't actually played it. Yeah. Yeah. Sam says that's not really a hot take. Liking games people haven't heard of. This is true.
Fair.
This is true. I can't think of like an unpopular opinion.
Eric doesn't like classic Monkey Ball. There's that.
I don't.
Yeah. That was kind of
there's some Monkey Ball games that I like. Touch and Roll on the DS I really enjoyed, and I did like, I had a lot of fun with Banana Blitz, but we actually did a review of Banana Mania, and I just I stopped having fun with it. I just
that was
really
probably
did.
our most contentious review we've ever done.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that one I remember that one, and I thought it was entertaining to listen to.
yeah, it's good.
I mean, it just proves that despite the fact that Sega is going to give us a game to review, we're not just going to automatically give it, glowing reviews. So we will always give you. We do try to. That's one of the things that we do on All In is we do try to straight to positive. But at the end of the day, we are going to be completely honest with you about the games that we play.
Yes. Well, I'm excited to hear your thoughts on the sequel trilogy as we get to that tonight.
I volunteer as tribute.
All right. But before we do that, I got to ask you guys, do you know what we're doing here tonight?
I think
at the start of the show, we do every single we talk
trying
about
to take over the world.
We try to take over the world of Nintendo podcasts, and we do that through 5-star reviews. So if you listening out there have not yet left us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, Audible, or your podcast listening platform or app or wherever,
I did.
Do it. Be cool like Eric and leave us a 5-star review. And we'll shout you out at the start of the show.
Be cool like Eric, the first time those 4 words have ever been spoken in that sequence in my entire life.
Oh, well, that's just what happens when you leave 5-star reviews for the Nintendo Pals podcast. You become a better person. And we
up.
And we feel better about ourselves. It also helps more people discover the show, raises us up in the search algorithms, and yeah, it's great. It's a fun time. Please, please, please do it. It really does help us out.
My back pain when I did it.
It fixed my marriage. Not true. None of those things are true. We are not medically allowed. I think legally we have to disclose that you aren't made a better person, but it does make me feel better. So please do it. Okay. With
Leaving
that,
a 5-star review is the cure for the common cold. Might not actually be cure for the common cold.
Ask your doctor before leaving 5-star review for Nintendo Pals. Let's move into the first segment of our show and let's talk what you making. All right, I'll leave this to our guest first. I'll turn it over to Eric. This is the segment of the show. We don't talk about games we're playing in the second episode per week. We talk about what we're making. So what kind
I love this idea.
What kind of content, what kind of stuff are you working on, Eric?
Well, obviously, we do our main Nintendo podcast, All In, a Nintendo podcast, which I said earlier, you can like, follow, and subscribe to over on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor, all the places that you get your podcasts from.
I'll put links to all that in the description of the episode as well. So if you're listening to the audio version,
we've got, just go to our Linktree. We've got Patreon. We've got all the things. Just all the things. We don't do TikTok because I think, I don't know if I'm, I don't know if doing the Wednesday dance is really good marketing for a Nintendo podcast, but we're basically everywhere else. But yeah, ironically enough, in terms of stuff that I'm making, I don't really talk about this on the main show too much because I don't really have the opportunity to, but in my day job, in my current job that's paying the actual bills, I do actually make content. I am a professional marketer for gas analyzers. So I try to do videos and create content and make stuff to advertise gas analyzers. So that's a fun fact that a lot of people who watch our show may not even know about me.
I didn't know about it. We're talking like gasoline?
No. So the company I work for actually sells like incubator medical analyzers, landfill gas analyzers,
Cool.
methane, hydrogen sulfide, stuff like that. We specialize in experts in anaerobic digestion and biogas, and it's all really boring. But
I am fully now expecting streams of you guys where it's like, I play through Zelda, but I can't fart.
well,
And you got it like mark it up on the side here with it's tracking and.
I actually could tell you how to implement an anaerobic digestion system at your house that you could use your food waste and human waste to help power your stove and heat your house.
You know, earlier in chat, Presto said, "What's your best pickup line?" That was Eric's right there. I could help you.
Why I'm single. Exactly why I'm single.
Oh my gosh, okay, I'll add that to this question section because we did answer that in last week's question section. It was a lot of fun. We looked up Nintendo pickup lines. Oh my gosh, they were bad.
Oh, I'm sure.
They were bad.
Pickup lines in general are bad.
Well,
it's just
let's just get away from him here. Seth, what have you been making lately? You're a creative. Yeah, you're a creative machine. Like I see stuff from Seth everywhere.
Yeah, this is first of all, this is what I do. So I do this like full time. I just have more time to commit to it than most people because this is my job. So I do a ton of podcasts and videos and shorts and stuff. I put out within the past week, I think I've put out like 4 or 5 YouTube videos, 3 or 4 shorts, and this is across and I did actually Carpool Gaming Weekly. We just launched on Carpool, and I edit all of that and take care of all of that. I do shorts on Carpool Gaming. So I'm always doing something. This is what I do day in and day out. Like I think
that room he's in right now, he never leaves.
Basically, yeah. I'm basically chained to this room. This is my office. I did let's see. What I'm working on right now is after we get done with this, I'll put all in together. But I just a couple of hours before we went live, I put together a little short about the deep blue shell lore with the Mario movie poster. So
Ooh.
that was fun to whip up, put that together real quick. Yeah, so I'm always something. I'll do, tomorrow I'll post all in. The day after I'll be doing $2 Hero Cast. Then we'll do side quest, and then Nintendo Drive post show. I could go on. There's a million things. Just launched Keep Nintendo Weird. A new episode of that just came out today for the public. So
with our buddies from the Nintendo Cartridge Society, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
that was super good.
Yeah, I love those guys. That's like one of my favorite Nintendo podcasts as well. They're in my feed.
It was so fun. Yeah, it was so fun.
Well, myself, I've been working on YouTube quite a bit. A lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
I have just launched the video Zelda, but if I say Link, I wax my leg. And that is an awesome video. That one was actually the initial edit cut down was done by our fantastic content manager, Mugglemoo, who edited down the mainstream down to the cut, and then I went in and made further cuts, punch-ins, and music. So
after the pain subsided,
a team effort. Yeah. I mean, we did that stream last year, and so at this point my hair is all back.
You're not going to have any more streams for the rest of the year, depending on where you waxed.
Just the legs, and chest. Okay. Actually, I got.
Oh God.
Yeah, that
40-year-old virgined it.
Well, there are a couple chest parts.
Yeah. Okay, that's not that bad. I'm not a hairy guy on the chest.
That's pretty high up on the leg there.
My legs just go straight up all the way to the shoulder. Yeah, so that video just launched. Everybody should go check that one out. It was a lot of fun. I think it's very funny. I think it turned out really good. And I am working on 3 other videos right now. to our AI invasion streams being turned into videos. And for those unfamiliar with AI invasion, we play basically a conquest game against Twitch chat. So myself and Micah versus Twitch chat, or myself versus Twitch chat. A lot of fun. We use AI to take over. In one of them, it's Pokemon, and the other one, it's Mario. We did those maps. And then tomorrow, I am streaming a Breath of the Wild holiday video for Valentine's Day. And the video for that one will be hopefully churned out and done in time for Valentine's Day. And then in addition to that, I am doing shorts every weekday on my YouTube channel, and that's all on Andross 1. So if everybody who's looking to check any of this stuff out, that's on Andross 1. And yeah, that's what I'm working on. I am trying to really grow on YouTube this year, and so that's going to come from doing regular content. I'm doing like most daily shorts, and every 2 weeks a new video. And these are
huge, dude.
Yeah, these are high production value videos. I mean, like 40 plus hours per edit videos. These aren't like, oh, I did a VOD and then I just cut it and slap it up there. I do music, voiceover, like special effects.
Yep.
There's a lot.
You did good work.
It's a lot of stuff. So with that, thanks for shouting out what you guys have been making, and let's jump in to the next segment of our show here, and we got to answer some community questions in the community corner. The first question, which I am going to spring on you guys right now, what was the best Nintendo game to come out in 2009?
Best Nintendo game to come out in 2009?
Yes, it's a recurring segment here. That Presto.
This is Presto's, right? Yeah.
Presto asks every week, and
So we're talking Nintendo specifically?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So,
well, actually, his question is, what is the best game that came out in 2009? So if you would like to branch outside of Nintendo, feel free.
Well, immediately, just with a quick Google search of best video games 2009. In terms of Nintendo, I mean, I see Wii Sports Resort here. That's a good game.
Chinatown Wars is a really, really good game. Chinatown Wars is very, very good.
Bowser's Inside Story, Spirit Tracks.
New Super Mario Brothers Wii.
That was 2009?
Yeah.
I felt like that was earlier than that. Wow. There's some...
So for me, it's for sure, definitely Wii Sports Resort.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Under there. That's my number one pick. Out of everything I'm seeing.
I mean, if we're going outside of Nintendo, Uncharted 2 came out that year, which is also really good. Infamous came out that year. Arkham Asylum came out that year.
Ghostbusters, the video game.
First Bayonetta.
The first Bayonetta, really good. Brutal Legend is, I love that game.
Yeah. Despite the kind of bait and switch halfway through, but yeah.
I love the bait and switch. I thought it was great. I think it's like a Dragon Age Origins. Like, there's some really good.
The Conduit. Really good we were actually talking about the Conduit recently.
The Conduit. I'll just say it for Micah. That's his pick. That would be his pick. He loves that game, and it is so great. Yeah.
Borderlands 1. Yeah.
You are here to help.
Yeah.
George Washington and Abraham
Borderlands
Lincoln.
My pick.
Oh, great.
Borderlands is my favorite 360 game.
That's a good pick. Dude, Lego Rock Band. Dude, that was a
Phineas and Ferb. You know, you got to.
Yeah. I saw you. I think we're looking at the same list.
I think Beatles Rock Band was that year because I remember it was 9/9/2009. It came.
Yeah. Those both came out about the same year. I had both of those. Those were the ones I had. I didn't have any other version of Rock Band. Lego and Beatles.
Yeah, I'll just as a little aside here. This was kind of a story. So I worked at GameStop at the time that came out, and I went to my grandfather's funeral, which was this like hugely emotional moment for me and my family and everything. And then in the middle of that, a family member, I won't say who, but they pulled me aside and they were like, "Hey, can we go down to the local GameStop and I think I'm going to pick up Lego Beatles Rock Band, and I wanted to use your employee discount on it." I'm like,
In
really?
the middle of a funeral?
Yeah. It was right after the funeral. He asked me that.
Jeez.
I was like, gosh, man. Yeah. So that's what I always think of that whenever I think of Beatles rock band. So awkward.
Read the room.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yep.
that's pretty good. Yeah,
Glad that's over. Let's go game.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, Borderlands for me.
So I was
A non-Nintendo pick from the Nintendo Podcaster. Oh, shock and
Ooh.
awe. Oh, the scandal.
It is a scandal. Got to pull your gamer card.
It's still a game.
Yeah. I am trying to find when Wii Fit Plus released. Is that 2009? It was shown at E3? Yeah, it did. So, honorable mention for Wii Fit Plus. I like that game.
Fair enough.
Dead Space Extraction, also my second favorite Dead Space game. Really good.
I mean, it lent itself well to an on-rail shooter.
Yeah, that's a great game. That's like one of my favorite Wii games.
I hope answers that question, Presto. We had another question in chat from Presto that said, "What's your best pickup line?" I have the brilliant idea right now to ask this to Chat GPT.
Okay. That's better than anything I'll tell you.
Your
I
best
professionally make videos for gas analyzers.
I've been with my wife for like 12 years. Pickup lines are not something I've had to.
You don't use them on your wife?
No.
Yeah, I don't. I was gonna try and come up with something. I mostly just come down and say, "Hey, it's me, wife. We're married."
Yeah, that's my go-to
she
pickup
just like-
line.
My pickup line.
Pickup lines for your wife was like, hey, I took out the trash and did the dishes.
Right.
Yeah, but I didn't do either of those things. So
Yeah.
just like, wait, well, I'm not gonna say that. I didn't do those things.
Well, I mean, like, isn't lying to your wife about menial chores like part of marriage?
I will say, our love language is when my wife gets home, I'll unlock the door for her. So she hates fumbling with the keys and everything. So that's
I guess you
something.
can come in, wife.
Yeah. She just hates fumbling with it. So she likes being able to just come straight in when she gets home. So
All right, so I've asked ChatGPT, what is your best pickup line? And they said, as an AI model, I don't have personal experiences or emotions, but here's a classic one. Do you have a map? Because I got lost in your eyes.
I'm all hot and bothered now.
that's yeah. Pretty solid.
And I was like, well, that's a solid one. So I asked if it had any more. It was like, do you have any more? Sure. Here are a few more pickup lines that you can use. Excuse me, but I think you dropped something. My jaw.
Yeah, classic.
I've never heard that one. That's good.
Have any of those like pun joke pickup lines? Have any of those ever legit
Not
worked?
once. Not once.
I'm going to go use this one on my wife, like right after this show. Is she in chat?
No.
She might be in chat, so I don't know. Maybe it won't work.
What'll it do if you ask it to do a Nintendo pickup line? Like a Nintendo themed pickup line. I'm curious about that.
A Nintendo themed pickup line.
I just want to see. I'm just morbidly curious what it comes up with.
What rating is your show?
Are you a
Andross?
Nintendo Switch? Because you've got me hooked.
Well,
I don't.
it tried.
I hate to say it, but I've got one, but it's not appropriate for a PG show.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Can you tell me more Nintendo pickup lines? I want to see if it can get more creative. It just gave me the one.
It can do better than that.
Here are a few more Nintendo-themed pickup lines. This is terrible. This is not good. Is your name Princess Peach? Because you got me feeling like a Super Mario in love.
Oh snap!
Oh
Wow.
no! Okay,
Hey, I truly
this
about
one's
to
better.
take
This
over
one's
the
better.
world.
Are you a Pokemon master? Because you've caught my heart.
All right, That at least is functional.
It's functional. Are you a link to my heart? Because I can't imagine my life without you. I think it's trying. It was like, yeah, link.
Yeah.
It's trying with the
maybe
pun.
it meant heart, like heart piece or
Like
something.
a heart piece or so. Yeah.
Are you a Joy-Con? Because you bring me joy into my life.
Jeez.
And this is the final one here I'll read, and then we can move on because these are terrible. Do you have the Triforce of courage, wisdom, and power? Because you have all three in abundance.
That's a great one. Throw that out there at the bar.
Just like, hey,
I mean,
you look like you have the Triforce.
Might as well put a ring on it now.
Remember, pickup lines are often seen as cheesy, so use them with caution. It's always best to be yourself and start a genuine conversation.
Is that what it told you too?
That is how it ended this segment.
Gave some actual life advice. Oh, by the way, don't use any of these.
Sam in chat.
Sam just won.
Are you Metroid Prime 4? Because I've been waiting for you forever.
Sam just won. Yeah.
Oh, these are too
actually good.
Well, that does it for the questions in chat. Oh, we have one more here in chat. A lot of stuff here in chat. What genre of music do you guys like?
I thought that was
that was a pickup line. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Cornholio. That is a pickup line. Why not? Oh, hey, what kind do I like? So dumb. I'm just going to move on. Let's move on to the next segment of our show. It's time for the PAL topic. Today's PAL topic, we are recasting Star Wars with Nintendo characters. This was an exercise we did with Lord of the Rings a few episodes back, and it was suggested by Spider-Shan over in our community Discord. He was like, now do it with Star Wars. I thought that was a fantastic idea. And so what we did is we picked 7 characters from each trilogy, and we are each taking a trilogy. Seth is in charge of the prequels. I am in charge of the original trilogy, and Eric is in charge of the sequel trilogy. So I think we'll just go in chronological order. What do you guys think?
Chronological order in terms of releases or in terms of timeline?
Good question. Good question.
In terms of
timeline. In terms of timeline. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's also, I have a list of 4 characters that appear in every trilogy. And we're just going to work as a team to come up with the answers for that one. So let's start with the prequels. Seth, what do you got for us for your prequel list?
Okay. So we should say we got a little bit of a heads up. We had some time.
You had about an hour.
We had some time to think about this. And I did try to make these make sense as much as I could on a limited timetable.
I'm sorry. I should have given you more time.
Well,
I really should have.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right. But I will have explanations for these. So
okay.
My list starts with Anakin Skywalker. And I thought about this a couple of different ways because to me, and I think that most Star Wars fans would agree with this, Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader are 2 very different characters. And I would argue that we see Darth Vader literally the moment when Darth Vader is created, in the prequel trilogy. So I didn't come into this because initially I was like, well, maybe it's like Dark Pit or something like that. But no, I'm thinking of Anakin Skywalker before he ever is tempted by the dark side and stuff like this. So, and I sort of used a point of order with casting my characters, going with the Star Wars theming. What better Nintendo franchise to base a lot of this on but Star Fox, right? I mean, this is basically Nintendo Star Wars already.
Yeah, I actually had a couple alternate picks for mine because I kind of assumed that a few Star Fox characters would get picked. Yeah. So I specifically had a couple alternates in case that happened because I didn't want to have any overlap.
Yeah.
So the vast majority of mine will come from Star Fox, but I think that they make actually quite a lot of sense. And I have thoughts for everything else, but I think when we get to the end and we're kind of casting these shared characters, we can kind of base them on what's been said in the other lists or whatever. But so for Anakin Skywalker, I'm going to cast Fox McCloud.
Makes sense.
Which I think makes perfect sense, especially considering kind of everything set up by him. He's kind of fatherless, right? He has that kind of like arc to him. He ends up being a very gifted pilot, of course, just like Anakin. And he kind of like goes through it. Doesn't ever go to the dark side, of course. But I think that for Anakin, I think that that Fox makes a lot of sense. So Fox is my pick for Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
For Obi-Wan Kenobi. And this is a layered explanation for this one. Because Obi-Wan Kenobi is a character that we see grow older, right? We see him.
I have Obi-Wan Kenobi on my list as well. He was almost on the all, but he's not in the final in any way.
Yeah, in the sequel trilogy, he's technically not.
So I just went with, in my mind, I'm casting for old Obi-Wan.
Right.
They are very similar characters, but yeah.
They are, and so my casting for Obi-Wan in the prequel trilogy is Falco. I think that Falco and Fox have that kind of relationship where he's sort of the older brother that kind of ribs at him quite a lot. They're kind of friends, kind of rivals.
Okay. I'm seeing it now.
But ultimately, there's a lot of love there, and very, very crucially, if anybody's played Star Fox Command. At the end of Star Fox Command, Fox kind of retires. He has a kid. He ends up marrying Crystal. They have a kid together.
Wait, there are alternate endings to this game. I don't know what's if there's like a canonical one, but that's at least
the canonical one is called like Good Night Star Fox or Goodbye Star Fox, something like that. So he and Crystal have a kid, and they sort of settle down and whatever, and they create the kids. I think it's Fox and Crystal's son. I think his name is Marcus McCloud. It's, I believe, Peppy's granddaughter and Slippy's son, and they form a new Star Fox team. But they immediately go out and seek the help of old Falco, and that's kind of where we're left. So Falco, even in that role, is sort of
still
old Obi-Wan
too. Oh my goodness!
In that respect, I can see. Honestly, when it comes to the younger, like the core Star Fox team that most of us are familiar with, I can honestly really see Peppy, because he's much more of a mentor type character for Fox, which is what Obi-Wan was to Luke. Yeah. So I could definitely see that as well.
Too old, because it needed to be older brother vibes. It needed to be kind of rival, kind of picking on each other playfully. But
for the original trilogy, that's fair. Yeah. For the original trilogy, that's fair.
The only problem I have with this pick is that I feel like the personalities aren't necessarily jiving, because Falco is like,
he's really abrasive.
Yeah, and I feel like he kind of puts that off. Like, I think to a newcomer, he might seem like, oh, he's a bit rude or a bit forward. Where Obi-Wan,
Rivali-ish even.
Yes.
It's
like, is this just how Nintendo feels about bird people?
Bird people. Yeah.
But where Obi-Wan is like always sort of like a very refined and proper, except when he's with Anakin. So I feel like he does fit very well with what you were saying, like the big brother.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
He really is ribbing at him and has the humor with Anakin. But everywhere else, he's kind of like, oh, I'm proper Jedi, like follow protocol. Like,
yeah. And so to go along with all of that, Padme kind of had to be Crystal. This makes the most sense. I thought of a couple different characters for Crystal, but or for Padme, but I land on Crystal just because, again, it just makes sense. They wind up, getting together. She is the love interest. They do have a kid. Marcus McCloud is essentially their Luke. You know what I mean? Like, it sort of just makes sense. No, like, royal heritage, I don't think, with Crystal, but she still kind of has that, like,
she gives those vibes. Like, I would think you would think, oh, Crystal was a princess somewhere before.
Yeah.
joining.
I'm not 1,000% up on my Star Fox lore. I could be wrong about that, but she definitely has.
She's
Princess of Dinosaur Planet.
Yeah, isn't she something on Dinosaur Planet? I don't know.
I kind of thought she was. She has this, like her character design seems very regal, always seemed very regal to me. So I don't know. I think I always thought she was some type of weird anthropomorphic royalty or something.
She's got the Padme vibes through and through, and she just makes sense for Fox Anakin. So had to go with her.
You know who I could also see? Marl.
Yeah, I could see that. It was interesting though too, because I was trying to keep it Nintendo first party, but I don't know if we can branch out or not. But I kept it Nintendo first party personally.
That's fair. I did too.
Yeah. Ahsoka is a deep cut. I'm gonna make a deep cut with Ahsoka.
Let's do this. I want to hear it.
For casting Ahsoka,
which
I'm actually casting her.
I hope you were okay with me adding Ahsoka, who's like, I mean, it's all canon. She's definitely canon. But not necessarily. Sure, she's not in the movies, but
the greatest character to have never appeared in the movies.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And in her, the way she slots into the prequel trilogy specifically, it's very sort of mysterious, kind of operating in the background. So I wanted to cast somebody from Star Fox 2 specifically.
Wow. Nice.
Star Fox 2, most people don't know this, but Star Fox 2 introduced new characters to the lore.
Yep.
Specifically, there's 2 new pilots in the Star Fox unit, Miyu and Faye. Miyu's a little too flirty. She doesn't really give Ahsoka vibes, but Faye, I think, would make a great Ahsoka. Faye even sort of looks like Ahsoka with the sort of pigtails looking like Ahsoka's it's not Leku because Leku's for Twi'lek, but Ahsoka's sort of headdress.
Nice.
But yeah, so Faye, though we don't know a lot about her, the way she slots into the prequel trilogy is kind of similar. She's like this younger sort of character that is still, ready and raring to fight alongside Fox. And Fox is a little bit of a mentor character to her. And I think it fits really well with Ahsoka in prequel trilogy era. So
nice. I dig it.
Next one I have here is Darth Maul. And this one, if you're familiar with the character of Leon Powalski, who is the chameleon character
in Star Fox.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
The chameleon assassin, working for Wolf, who specifically has it way out for Falco. Falco and he are rivals, just as Darth Maul and Obi-Wan are rivals. So that to me made perfect sense. He's also kind of got those vibes because he's, very like angry assassin trying to kill Falco or whatever. But he's not all bad all the time. He's got like a little bit of a heart to him too. I think it makes good sense for Maul. Maul's a tough one to cast because the totality of Maul is a very complex character. Ironically, Ahsoka and Maul might be 2 of the most fleshed out characters in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then for Qui-Gon Jinn, that's who I cast as Peppy. That's where I put Peppy.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And even down to the sort of honorable death sort of thing with Peppy. I think he makes a lot of sense for that. The sort of older mentor. He's part of the original, Star Fox crew. The last character I had to cast here was Jar Jar Binks, who is a very difficult character to cast within Star Fox. So this is the one character that I went out of Star Fox for. And so I went with Tingle, and here's why. Now, that's fair. This might seem like low-hanging fruit to some. But I think this makes more sense than people will give it credit for, because Tingle is not only the sort of like fun derpy character that like has a certain fan base of people who take him seriously. I think Jar Jar is kind of in that same vein, but Tingle also has a very extensive family, just like Jar Jar does, and I think that I think that gives it like a Jar Jar dimension to Tingle, if you will. I think it makes a lot of sense. So
Nice.
I'm going with Tingle.
All right, so recap them real quick for us.
Anakin Skywalker is Fox McCloud. Obi-Wan Kenobi is Falco. Ahsoka Tano is Faye from Star Fox 2. Padme Amidala is Crystal. Darth Maul is Leon Pawalski. Jar Jar Binks is Tingle. And Qui-Gon Jinn is Peppy Hare.
These are so good. That is, it's crazy how well everything fits.
I think you'll be more impressed by mine. Actually,
a tease.
It did a very good job, I think.
Well, I took this a very different approach to my list. My list does not fit within like a single game universe. This pulls from all over and I'm trying to pull characters that fit the vibes here. So I have the original trilogy. I'll jump into it here. First off, I've got Chewbacca. All right. I picked Yoshi as Chewbacca.
I just immediately kind of thought like Donkey Kong or something.
That's where I started. That's where I started too. But I feel like Donkey Kong has a bit too much of a main character presence. Mm-hmm. Yoshi is a companion character through and through, and that is what Chewbacca is. Chewbacca has just always been the companion character, and is there to support whoever his partner is. And I thought, well, maybe Donkey Kong with like Diddy, that kind of makes sense. But no, I went more for a vibe here of like partner character, doesn't speak, although Yoshi does talk, but never like doesn't have a voice really. Other
Yoshi.
Like Yoshi, yeah. And I feel like just a lot of stuff matches.
I think it's a good pick because Chewbacca does have a life debt to Han Solo, and so you could make that argument for Yoshi and Mario too, as many times as he does for Mario.
Mario has a life debt now. Jeez.
Alrighty, and so now I'm getting into. I've got more of the like main characters here, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with Luke Skywalker. This one was tough for me, but I ended up going with. I'll give you some more picks on like ones I played around with in my mind, but I'm going with Shulk for Luke Skywalker.
Okay.
Yep.
And the reason is emotion. Luke is kind of whiny, but he has this like big character growth after sort of going on this hero's journey of a quest. And I feel like it parallels well with Shulk's journey, where he starts as well. I mean, he's just kind of like like a researcher or a scientist,
like a scavenger,
and then becomes.
He was really feeling it.
Yeah, becomes essentially a Jedi. So, I mean, he gains like abilities that help him to defeat, giant mech. I mean, there's a lot. I think there's a lot of parallels there.
This too.
Well, I think I could see where you're coming from more if Shulk maybe had like some legendary weapon that turned into a laser blade or something.
Yeah,
I think I could maybe see more.
Yeah.
So too bad.
And if the laser blade could be like blue and green, even
yeah, that probably would have helped too. Too bad that's not a thing.
Yeah, and if the villain could be just him. Which is sort of how
also true.
Shh, spoilers.
Yeah, how about? I mean, that scene in Empire Strikes Back where he fights himself.
He fights himself.
Vader. That's very Xenoblade. Very Xenoblade. Anywho, that's my pick for Luke Skywalker. I played around with the idea of either Ness or Lucas as well from the Mother series.
I can see that.
Skywalker.
Lucas.
Yeah, I could really see Lucas.
Lucas specifically because of tragedy with family and his journey, and both of them sort of gain these abilities like what Luke gets with the Force, and using that to overcome the main antagonist in the movie and series as a whole, the whole trilogy. So that journey there, but I felt like Shulk just fit too well.
Mm-hmm.
For Princess Leia, I have picked Zelda. I feel like this is an easy, like a bit of a low-hanging fruit here, but Zelda, because Princess Leia is a fighter and very involved, especially in the sequel trilogy, very involved in the military, but like even in the original trilogy, she's not really a damsel in distress at any point, I think. Most of the time she's pretty headstrong, and I just feel like Zelda's personality in almost every game matches pretty well with that. I'm royalty, but I'm here to kick some butt, you know? Like that. Yeah. That's what it's all about. Down to uses pigs as bodyguards. Whoa, that was a little... So yeah, there you have it. Princess Leia, Princess Zelda. For Obi-Wan Kenobi, I had a bit of a tough time with this one, but I ended up going with the King of Hyrule, specifically from The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
This being because he lives as a hermit and sort of guides the hero on the journey a bit from the side, and then Force Ghost. I mean, when you
said that, that was immediately what I was thinking. Is like, oh, that's right, he does pass, and he actually appears to you as this. Okay, yeah.
It's a little different.
Tracks.
It's a little different, but I think they sort of work as the same kind of characters of how they serve the main character in their respective stories. And I think that's really cool. And also, you know, like the history, he was in wars, fought, and yeah, the old man, King
Baspharamis Hyrule
of Hyrule. Yeah, that guy.
First of his name.
Yeah.
And next up, I have Han Solo. And I love Han Solo as a character, and maybe I need your guys' help here, but I think this is a decent pick. I love him as a character, so it was really hard for me to find a one-to-one match here that fit. So I'm going with Captain Falcon.
Okay.
And it's just the energy and attitude of Captain Falcon that I think matches well
me your moves
with Han Solo. Han Solo is sort of like an arrogant, cocky guy that is really involved with his trade, and that's like there's not a lot of personality to Captain Falcon that you see much. I think in the GameCube games there's like cutscenes with him, but even then he's still not much. So I don't know if you guys can think of a better pick for this one. I'm open to suggestions, but I think Captain Falcon's a decent pick.
Yeah, he's not conniving enough. He's not conniving enough for me. Yeah. I want him to have a little more spice. I actually think that that somebody like I know I say this kind of jokingly a lot to troll you in your chat, but I think Rivali is actually not a bad Han Solo. The sort of like tough exterior that's a little bit of a brash jerk, but once you get to know him, you can earn his respect, and you know, I could sort of, and also a sharpshooter.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that does fit. That does fit. Except I like Han Solo, so I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like I just dislike Rivali mostly to spite Seth at this point.
Also fair.
That is also fair.
I've hung out with Micah too long. This is what happens. He's starting to do stuff like this. Yeah. So I even Falco works here pretty well, right?
Yeah, true.
Like
I could see it.
Like I think Falco's actually probably the best pick here, but I didn't want to steal Falco from your list. So Captain Falcon,
he's my young Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Young Obi-Wan, also Han Solo, very similar characters.
Totally.
Okay, these last picks I think are pretty good. I have Lando Calrissian, Magolor from Kirby, the Kirby coming out.
Ooh, interesting.
And the reason behind this, Magolor is sort of a space. I get the sense of businessman. He in Kirby Clash is the storekeeper, and in the games he operates the ship, and then he's also going to be operating Megalore Land, Megoland, Merry
Right.
Megoland.
Magoland, yeah.
So he gives all these vibes, but also he betrays you hardcore. And I needed someone that betrayed you, but that you also still liked afterwards. And that's how I feel about Magolor. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
Because we have Empire Strikes Back. Lando is like, oh. But then by the end of the movie, you're like, well, he was just trying to do what he thought was best. So I feel like Magolor falls in line with this well. Another great character.
I dig that. And he's also got the good cape. You know.
Yeah, the cake.
He does. And then my last one here is Darth Vader.
Oh,
And I had a very difficult time with this one. I have landed on Bowser for Darth Vader.
Bowser, not Ganon. Okay.
No, because Ganon isn't going to come back and save his son. But Bowser will. Bowser is
Good point.
evil and terrible, but he's a family man. And in the end, Darth Vader has that. And so I needed...
There's good in him.
Yes. That's exactly where I was going with this. Like, how different would it be if Bowser Jr. was a good guy? You know, like at the very end, like what kind of ending would we get here?
Well,
you know,
Bowser's Fury is sort of that, right?
Yeah.
Where Bowser Jr. is like, hey, help me help my dad, basically.
Bowser's had some hardcore, like Giga Bowser in the Smash series.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a character that I don't want to mess with. Much
Fury
like
Bowser
Vader.
is like still one of the coolest
Yeah,
Nintendo characters just of all time.
Yeah, and so I think the downsides to this pick are that Bowser can oftentimes be a little bit too silly because it's just how Mario is, you know,
Sure.
like the series, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm a villain sometimes, and then other times let's play tennis together, you know, but for the most part, like if you look at like the core games, Bowser is powerful, scary, and evil, but with a soft side. Even like Paper Mario, the latest Paper Mario game, there's this really great moment about where he is like, I don't want to dive into my philosophy on parenting right this moment, but I try and let the kid learn and do what he wants. And it's just this like random one-liner that you're like, oh, Bowser cares about his kids, man. and you see, yeah, that's where I pull from for this one. So that's my list. So
go ahead and recap it for us.
we have Chewbacca is Yoshi, Luke Skywalker is Shulk, Princess Leia is Zelda, Obi-Wan Kenobi is the King of Hyrule, Han Solo is Captain Falcon, Lando Calrissian is Magolor, and Darth Vader is Bowser.
Nice. The Yoshi and the Magolor picks are my two favorites. Those are really good.
Yeah. That means it's time for everyone's favorite trilogy, the sequel trilogy. Yeah.
Well, this is why I knew I was going to go third. And the reason I didn't want to go third is because of exactly this. Remember how I said that I had a couple alternate picks just in case?
They've all been used up.
Poe Dameron, specifically, the Han Solo of the sequel trilogy. Take a wild guess who I cast.
Captain Falcon.
Captain Falcon.
He's a better pick. I will relinquish my Captain Falcon pick and put in Rivali. because Poe, he makes way more sense as Poe.
Who was another character that we were talking about for Han Solo?
Falco.
He was my alternate for Poe.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're all the same character. The hot shot.
But, well, specifically because Poe is very much defined by his insane piloting ability. He's also a bit of a scoundrel, very kind of a jerk. He's not necessarily like a smuggler. He's definitely a hero, but he's incredibly snarky, very much not... he's not a fan of authority, so that's why I looked at Falco and Captain Falcon specifically, and I was like, those are just perfect. And I thought to myself, I was like, these are perfect, but I promise you, somebody else is going to pick one or both of these for other characters, and sure enough, that's what happened. But I maintain that I do think Captain Falcon is a better Poe Dameron than he is a Han Solo.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I will relinquish that and switch Han Solo to be just Rivali, because I think that's a better pick for sure.
But I specifically, despite us having really no time to prepare for this, I still wanted to challenge myself with this. I wanted to challenge myself, so I decided to limit myself to one character per franchise.
So you took an opposite approach to Seth. I have one franchise. Yeah. Okay. I'm down for this. But
let's go ahead and properly get mine started. You guys have already heard my characters and my reasoning for Poe Dameron. My Poe Dameron is Captain Falcon. Going to Rey, that's actually my Mario representative, and I don't think you think it is who it is. There's something about this character that honestly, just for me, really fit Rey. There's a few characters that I've got like 4 or 5 different parallels where it just lines up perfectly. But for Rey just for some reason really felt like Toadette to me.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I mean, she's not regal. She's not a princess. So I didn't want to go with Daisy. I didn't want to go with Peach or even Rosalina. I looked at some of the other female characters across the Nintendo space. And honestly, I really think Toadette and Rey in a lot of important, vibey kind of ways, I think they line up really well. And I think if you were going to make some Nintendo production of the Star Wars sequel trilogy, which honestly, saying that out loud, I kind of want to see that now.
Yes, please.
It'd be better.
Yeah. But I think Toadette would be a very good Rey. I don't have a lot of hard reasoning for that, but,
Well, and in true Nintendo casting fashion, Pauline is snubbed yet again. So that also tracks.
I like this in chat here. So Rey just floats around and sells you stars?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. This is still scraps. Pauline, I think would be a good... who was the captain of the ship that wound up going through Snoke's?
Admiral Holdo.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one for Pauline. I think Pauline could be that. The heroic sacrifice.
The Laura Dern of the Nintendo universe. Still
authoritarian kind of figure. When it comes to Pauline is still very authoritarian. Like, she's the mayor.
Yeah, sort of. I think it depends on the context. In most games, yeah. But you're right. Yeah, in most games, I think she's more authoritarian.
The thing that doesn't track for me with Rey versus Toadette is that Rey is like... My defining characteristic of Rey is that just everything goes good for Rey all the time. And
Mary Sue.
She just like instantly is master of the Force instantly. And there is no Nintendo character like this because Nintendo writes better characters. So like main character that just gets everything they need.
That's also not a phrase that's probably spoken very often.
that just a character that gets everything they need exactly when they need it, and is just very vanilla. But personality wise, I feel like Toadette and Rey mix well.
I thought so. Yeah,
I think you nailed it with the vibe for sure. I honestly can't think of someone in Nintendo lore that's like, oh, they just got everything they needed. Like this, unbelievably, they mastered everything too quickly. This was too easy for them. You know what you guys know what I'm saying? I'm just using this to complain about the sequel trilogy now.
Well, some people may think space female and may gravitate toward another specific Nintendo character. So using that, I'm going to move on to Captain Phasma. And for Captain Phasma, when it comes to, badass female characters locked up in a really cool shiny metal suit.
This is a good pick.
But Captain Phasma's evil. It's a good thing there's a dark version of this character. I cast Dark Samus as Captain Phasma.
Fair. Also, you saying that has just reminded me, has just made me realize, I guess, rather, no Boba Fett representation here? What's going on with this? This whole thing is in shambles. What's happening here?
Yeah, I don't know why I took Boba Fett off my list. Because I had him on here. But I didn't want this to go 4 hours, so I took
Vile for Mega Man X. There you
go.
Also,
I mean, here's the thing. Boba Fett has like a total screen time of like 10 minutes. All right, like let's be real. He's the most like hype character that really sucked in the movies. It's he's like and then falls off.
Goodbye, everybody.
He falls into the pit like immediately in 6. Okay.
But Vile from Mega Man X. There you go.
But he is cool in all of the external lore. He's an Ahsoka Tano for the original trilogy. So,
they did give him his own show for 3 episodes.
Don't get me started on this. You're right. This will make too long of a show. Yeah, let's not. Yeah, let's not. You gotta be here tonight.
So, but yes, Dark Samus as Captain Phasma. I know Dark Samus is, like a Metroid, with dark reflection, and I know that Dark Samus's body isn't necessarily, metal. It's much more like hard alien Metroid. But you guys know where I'm coming from with this.
Yeah, but do we ever see Captain Phasma without her helmet? I don't even remember.
We see
it gets broken.
Yeah, it gets broken. We see her face through the face shield. And
was it the same face, that like green?
It's kind of like how Vader's helmet gets broken in the Obi-Wan series.
Yeah. You get a little Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah. There you go.
Bit. I did consider what was the SX or whatever from Metroid Fusion.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, the SX.
I did consider that, but ultimately I think just straight up Dark Samus is a better cast for Captain Phasma. But moving on to Finn. Finn, a really useful character and very endearing, but he still kind of has this whole new to the world aspect about him, even going in to the 3rd movie of the sequel trilogy. So, and I know this is going to get a lot of laughs, I cast him as the Animal Crossing villager.
Okay. Yeah, and he does the Animal Crossing villager, just like Finn's always screaming after Ray. The Animal Crossing villager's always like, Toadette!
Ray!
I just,
Ray!
I picture Finn running away, like the Animal Crossing villager running away from a scorpion or a tarantula or something.
I could see that.
I definitely think the villager has a past of being like child soldier that was forced into the Empire. Like, definitely gives those vibes.
That's the deep lore. That's the deep lore that you never really see.
That's the lore they don't want you to know.
Exactly.
Nintendo doesn't want you to know that. Yeah.
Yeah. The secret truth.
The truth exposed about Animal Crossing's dark history. But yeah, just Finn, this almost like this undeserved, this unearned naivete about everything. This kind of, oh, I'm here kind of thing.
Working for the Empire. Yeah, Tom Nook is the Empire.
That's
Emperor
true.
Palpatine. We got that coming up. Tom Nook.
So I'm casting your Animal Crossing avatar, your Animal Crossing villager as Finn.
That's a good pick.
I thought so. Going into BB-8. For BB-8, honestly, my immediate thought of this was, and I thought of this before we even jumped into stream with you, I honestly immediately thought of Rob.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But as I thought about it more, what are the real defining characteristics of BB-8? He's small, he's adorable, he's fantastic, but he's round. Kirby.
I could see that.
So yeah.
I'll tell you who I thought of for BB-8 too. When you were saying that is Chibi Robo. I think would be a good.
I could see that. I could see that, but I could honestly just see like Kirby's Dream Buffet just rolling along like BB-8, just doing hi, like all the Kirby noises, just like BB-8 would. And I mean, Kirby's incredibly useful. He's incredibly powerful. He's been able to find a ton of practical uses throughout his franchise, like just like BB-8 does in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. He's a beloved and endearing character, the mascot, frankly, of the sequel trilogy. Yeah. I think Kirby would be a great cast for him. Kirby has plenty
merchandise opportunity.
Kirby has plenty of experience just rolling around as a ball, whether it be block ball, pinball, Kirby's canvas curse, even as the wheel power-ups. Kirby's got plenty of experience doing it, like moving around exactly the way BB-8 does.
That's a good pick. I like this a lot. Yeah.
Going into my Kylo Ren pick.
I'm very interested to see where you go with this one. Kylo Ren's a character.
This actually, I think, is my best corollary pick. Kylo Ren is a frankly kind of childish, impetuous, yet very powerful character.
Did you just get... Oh my gosh. Did chat just guess what you're going to say?
What did chat guess?
I'll let you go. I don't want to spoil it.
All right. Well, a somewhat childish, impetuous character, but way too powerful for their own good. Some machine aspects there to inform the character design, and then a lot of magical-like powers that really round out the character's moveset. I think Porky from Earthbound is a perfect cast.
I thought you were going to say Bowser Jr. That was what was... You described Bowser Jr. just now. But Porky makes so much sense, too.
Porky does make sense.
Porky makes so much sense. Yeah, it was funny because, so Maddie Beth in chat says Bowser Jr. equals Kylo Ren. And then you went into these descriptions, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Like childish, mechanical part of his design.
Some magic. I was like, oh my gosh.
Maddie Beth's a genius. Dark Pit would be a good Kylo also.
I could see that. I could see Dark Pit. But
Porky fits.
I thought about Porky and I was like, that's just perfect. That really is. That's just perfect. So Porky from Earthbound is my pick to play Kylo Ren. Kylo Porky.
Sam will judge. Sam's in the chat, so Sam will be the good judge of this.
Hey, that's
Sam
fair.
Will let us know.
That's fair. I definitely defer to Sam's expertise of,
he's the
of the Earthbound.
He's a Porky expert for sure. Yeah, definitely.
And I've got one left, Supreme Leader
Nice to say Porky for Jabba.
Porky for Jabba. That's also, I like that. Supreme Leader Snoke from the sequel trilogy. Incredibly powerful, conniving, incredibly manipulative, very mysterious.
Who did Seth pick for Jar Jar Binks?
Tingle.
Snoke is Jar Jar Binks. I hold to this theory. I don't care what anybody says.
Right. Well, Supreme Leader Snoke, again, very mysterious, especially in the first movie. Presumably very powerful, but ultimately there was something about the character that was intangibly disappointing. So I went with Zed from Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
That's fair. Yeah. What a bad character Zed is. Good grief. That's the worst part of that game by far. by far the worst part of that game.
Which is one of the reasons that I went with Zed. You know, again, very mysterious, very manipulative, clearly the boss behind everything, but ultimately kind of disappointing once everything is said and done.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, who is Zed? Like Z.
Z.
Yeah.
Always talking about the endless now, just like
The endless now.
Gosh,
Exactly.
this is such a perfect pick. This is. Yep, man. Like, I'm here, I'm big, evil, bad guy, and you're like, this guy, no character to this guy.
So, to recap mine, you have Poe Dameron, played by Captain Falcon. You have Toadette, playing the part of Rey. You have the Animal Crossing avatar, playing Finn. You have Dark Samus as Captain Phasma. You have Porky as Kylo Ren. And Zed from Xenoblade Chronicles 3 as Supreme Leader Snoke.
Excellent. So we have covered 3 trilogies. I have a short list here of characters that appear in every trilogy. I wasn't sure where to place these, and I thought it would be fun for us as a group here now to come together and determine who would be the best fit for these characters.
Well, the first one we've got to do from this list is, I've been thinking, even after I did mine, I was thinking who would be Yoda.
All right, we can do Yoda. Let's go Yoda.
This is the one I wasn't able to really land on. What were you thinking for Yoda?
See, that's the thing is, you know, what you have is you have a diminutive mentor character, far powerful than they appear, you know, kind of funny, not necessarily comedic, but you know, they can have a light interpretation of events, but ultimately you trust them. They're wizened and they have good judgment for the most part. And I kept thinking across the Nintendo landscape, and I don't know, like, completely honestly, Gramps.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say Gramps.
Wouldn't be bad.
From Xenoblade.
Frog Fuchsius, I think, could be
Frog Fuchsius would be a good one. Yeah,
Who is Frog
from
Fuchsius?
Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, Malo's father.
I didn't play that game. I need to play that game.
What?
You should play that game. Yeah, it's a good game.
I don't know.
I think now Eric's gone. Now Eric's out.
He actually left the call. He didn't just turn off his camera. He actually left.
That didn't mess up the layout of the stream, did it?
It did, but it's okay. I think it adds dramatic effect to the moment.
Okay. Sorry.
That was why I turned off my camera. I was like, streamer mind.
No, you're good.
Frog Fuchsius, though, yeah, I think
I could see that
for Yoda. Yeah.
Frog Fuchsius, Gramps. I think those are 2 decent picks.
Wise old mentor. I mean, you could like one of the things that came to mind was Cranky Kong.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's the stick. It's the stick, like old Yoda. I'm not talking young Yoda.
Right.
I'm talking
Of
old.
course, yeah.
Which young Yoda was still old.
Yeah, but to say, yeah.
Puppet Yoda, not CG Yoda. That's what I'm talking about. Puppet Yoda
was still using a cane in episode 1.
Puppet Yoda definitely has Cranky Kong vibes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sam in chat. I didn't see that, but you said that a while ago. Yeah.
It's a good pick. Yeah, and he has like he's kind of he doesn't take himself like too seriously, you know. So I can see that.
So for me, it's between Cranky Kong and Gramps. I feel like Gramps kind of matches more with Yoda across the entirety.
I like Gramps. I just can't I can't take him too seriously because he just becomes this is early Xenoblade 2. He becomes this kind of like chibi, cute, you know, character, and it's like real hard to take him too seriously. And it's kind of played up for laughs. He's a great character. I love him, and he has great advice. He's very wise, but like, every time I think of Gramps, I just think of this cute little floating like chibi dragon, you know, sort of thing. And I don't know. He's more Grogu than he is Yoda.
I could see that, but also just the image of him riding around in Rex's helmet,
that's a good point.
Like a backpack, basically.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll give it to you for that, because I think that cinches it up pretty nicely there.
And I again, he starts as this extremely powerful character, and I think you see that journey with Yoda, right? Like, he was an extremely powerful Jedi that sort of came into this role of, yes, I am powerful, I have all this wisdom, knowledge, but now I'm just kind of guiding someone else to their journey. So, yeah.
And also, Gramps was kind of tasked with, taking care of this young would-be hero.
Yeah.
So,
our next ones for the list, we may want to cast these as a duo, maybe not. We have R2D2 and C3PO. I think it'd probably be easier to cast them separately. You gotta, but think about they're always together, a pair.
Rob and Chibi Robo. That's where we could.
I'm just looking up something real quick because I don't want to get this character's name wrong.
Okay.
So here's my thought for this.
Okay.
Because our Leia was Princess Zelda, correct? That was our Leia.
Yeah. Oh my God! Are you?
So if we're relating these characters to Princess Zelda, I think it could be Impa and Terrico from Age of Calamity.
Age of Calamity, yep.
Yeah.
The little mini guardian. The second you said Zelda, I was like, oh my God, I know exactly where he's going with this.
I like the
Terrico's awesome in that game too.
I like the Terrico pick like a lot. That is R2D2. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if Impa really fits C3PO though.
I could see that actually. I could see Impa as C3PO.
C3PO is like a worry wart. Like, and Impa doesn't really.
Young
give those
Impa
vibes.
kind of is.
Young Impa is, yeah.
Young Impa kind of is.
I didn't play enough of that game.
These are both Age of Calamity picks, I guess. Ultimately,
I guess Robbie's his name, right? I think Robbie's a little too exuberant, a little too happy-go-lucky to really be C3PO.
Yeah, well, and I was also thinking of it as being like sort of an emissary to the princess sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, Impa is so directly related to Princess Zelda, and she's always kind of been, and she also carries through into her old age still, like she, just like 3PO does throughout the generations. So I think it makes some bit of sense.
Maybe Toadsworth?
Yeah. That's not a bad one.
Or just Toad.
Toad in general.
Just Toad in general. I mean,
like protocol droid screaming everywhere.
I mean,
screaming, running around.
He is always like. That's like C3PO vibes. Oh, we're doomed. We're like, I don't know. With the exception of Blue Toad, whose name I can't remember again.
Buckenberry.
Buckenberry. Most and Captain Toad. Most toads are panicky worry warts.
Yeah.
I just feel like I feel like there's a character out there that is a perfect fit that I just cannot think of.
If they had a full body, I would say maybe Beepo.
Beepo.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beepo definitely has 3PO vibe, especially like even the voice acting that Beepo has in Sparks of Hope is kind of 3PO-ish. Yeah. I could see that.
Luigi in chat from Fedorable Will.
Yeah, Luigi kind of has that worry wart vibe.
Yeah, that is fair. We didn't think about him because he's, not a robot, but yeah, in terms of personality, Mario.
Yeah,
Luke.
Luigi's Mansion, basically you are C3PO. Oh, like every
yeah, and he's also always kind of like attached to the hip a little bit, and he's like kind of lost without R2 a little bit, and like if R2 goes missing, 3PO is going to be the one that goes out looking for him.
Right. Right. And you
Luigi's
have that
kind of a good one.
Yeah,
Luigi has that
Luigi.
with, even in Luigi's Mansion, you've got that with he has like
Luigi and Polterpup, C3PO.
Yeah, Polterpup is sort of his R2D2. But I think gosh, what did we pick for R2D2? Terrico is just too good of a pick. So it's Terrico and Luigi. And
Terrico's a great
you
pick.
can see a game where Terrico and Luigi are partners, right? Like
I would love to see that game.
Like that's such a good pick. I think this is where we settle. We give it to Fedorable Will here. Luigi's a good pick.
That.
I would just love to see Luigi's reaction when he sees what a murder bot Terrico is. He's like, "Oh, look at this cute little thing," and then he kills like everything around it.
R2 does too, though. To be fair, R2 has those moments too, especially episode 3 when he douses him in the oil and sets him on
he
fire.
just like lights a guy on fire. Yeah,
takes out those two. I don't not the normal, like the heavily armored droids.
Yeah, they're the big elite ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Droidecas or whatever.
The last one I have on this list here, and maybe we can talk about some stragglers if you guys have some shout outs you want to do here. Emperor Palpatine. Sheev Palpatine.
Sheev Palpatine.
The worst first name ever.
Your old buddy, Sheev Palpatine.
Oh, good old Sheev.
You know, and I'm not saying this but because it's you, but Andross might not be a bad Palpatine, actually. I could sort of see that.
Yeah.
I could kind of see that, yeah.
Yeah.
Not really using magical power, but very manipulative, right? And sort of is, again, generational, you know, an antagonistic force through generations. Sam says, look up Von Bolt from Advance Wars. I don't remember, which one is this? Von Bolt. Advance Wars. Let's see.
Well,
I mean,
it's just based off the picture. Like, yeah.
I mean, this is from Dual Strike. This is why I don't remember this game.
Okay.
This character.
What you were saying with Andross actually makes a lot of sense to me. Before we look at too much at Von Bolt, you're right. He in his young days, in his early stages, he is a scientist, was very involved with the government world order, but he was using it to manipulate behind the scenes until he
the political
starts his strikes.
angle.
Yeah, he definitely has that political side, and then morphs into this monster essentially, which is exactly what happens to Palpatine, and then comes back as a ghost somehow, and it's like, yeah, that feels very Andross-like, actually.
That's Mewtwo vibes.
So yeah, let's look at this Von Bolt character. I know nothing about.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the quotes, and like it almost the vibes are almost a little too creepy. I feel like he does have some Palpatine-ish quotes, but he's talking about sucking marrow from the bones of people, and the scent of destruction makes me feel young.
Seems like a pleasant fellow to me.
Yeah, seems nice.
No matter
nice
how
guy.
powerful you are, you're still a worm on a hook.
It's a Palpatine-ish line.
Let me have a taste of your soul.
The classic Palpatine line. Let me have a taste of your soul.
How about the darkness rises?
Oh, I got one. I got a good one. It's not first party, but Shang Tsung.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Old Shang Tsung specifically from Mortal Kombat.
Gotta have the fighting game representative somewhere.
But I mean, like, old Shang Tsung is actually a pretty direct corollary to Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah.
Especially from Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah.
I dig that.
But it's me. I'm going to bring up the fighting game guy.
We've gone all over the place. What did we say first? I think Andross is definitely the pick to go.
I could see that.
I do like Andross for it. I just don't know enough about Von Bolt, and just reading the cliff notes here, he comes off as like overly creepy to me.
He's Von Bolt seems to be very in line with the original trilogy Emperor Palpatine.
Right.
But
I like the arc that Andross has.
Yeah.
Right.
Holistically, I think Andross fits really good.
I dig it.
I just finished making Kylo Ren Bowser Jr. I'll post it in the meme section of the Discord. All
it's
right.
very good.
So everybody that wants to see that, check out the Nintendo Pals Discord. Our Are there any other characters that you guys want to highlight? There was some justice for Boba Fett I heard earlier.
Yeah, I don't know what Nintendo character would really fit Boba Fett. I'd have to think on that a little bit more deeply, because Boba Fett is somebody who wants to not be the same man his father was, right? Who has like a real arc to his character, who has a lot of like, you know, badness in his past too, but has sort of grown beyond that. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I'm sort of having the opposite problem, because I'm like, I don't know if too many Nintendo characters are well written enough or fleshed out enough to fall in line with Boba Fett, you know?
I when I said well written, I'm only talking about Rey. I'm only talking about Rey. So it's like, yeah. Not hard to write a better character than Rey. Which, to be fair, I think Daisy Ridley's.
Yeah, Daisy Ridley.
Oh,
yeah.
Why don't we just have Daisy and Ridley combined play?
Sure. There you go.
Now, if we're talking,
I think she did a great job. But yeah.
If we're talking Boba Fett from before the Book of Boba Fett, essentially, and not including the EU and stuff like that, you could essentially just take any, bounty hunter or whatever from, because he was like fairly generic. He's no good to me dead, that kind of whole vibe in the original trilogy and stuff like that. It was only in the prequel trilogy that we got a little bit of backstory. Then he's fleshed out a lot more in the Clone Wars, and then Book of Boba Fett really fleshed him out. So the totality of Boba Fett is hard to define.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it 4 times. Vile from Mega Man X. Like, that just was Boba Fett. They took direct inspiration from Boba Fett when they created that character. So,
what do you think of Meta Knight?
I mean,
Meta Knight was always there's always an honor to him, and Boba Fett until the Book of Boba Fett didn't really have any kind of honor.
Yes.
He was a bounty hunter. He was a scoundrel.
So this is where I'm going to make the pitch that Meta Knight would be a good pick for the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, for those reasons.
Yeah, I could see that. Meta Knight is Din Djarin. Yeah.
Doesn't show his face.
Mother Brain is Jabba.
I do think the Porky pick for Jabba was really good. Also, but we already have Porky cast as Kylo Ren.
DDD for Jabba.
That's not a bad one.
It's been like, I think about him lounging around at the end of Forgotten Land.
Yeah.
I just look at that, and that just really gives me big Jabba vibes.
King K. Rool, maybe?
K. Rool is so active, though. He doesn't... Granted, yeah, DDD is, but we always see K. Rool. Like, don't get me wrong, K. Rool is big, but he's big
too
in
slapstick.
A muscular, intimidating way.
I'm thinking of K. Rool from like Mario 64. Most of the game he's just sitting at
DK64?
Not Mario 64, DK64. Thank you.
The classic Mario 64
yeah, the
character.
Yeah,
King K. Rool.
Oh man. Where he's just like sitting up in his like main room thing until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in most games he's very active and very involved. Like, this needs to be someone who's like a crime lord that is just working from behind the scenes. It doesn't really get involved until they're forced to.
Giovanni?
That's a good pick.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Hosts a giant criminal organization. And Giovanni isn't trying to take over the world, if I remember correctly. He's like...
He runs Team Rocket. He's trying to run his criminal organization. You can't even fight him the first time you get to his gym.
He's a mob boss.
Yeah, you have to force the issue.
It's
at
not
the end of the game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think Jabba's out there to try and like become the next emperor. He just wants to run his criminal empire and make money and live the lavish, lazy lifestyle. Which I could see Giovanni being a good pick. And we need a Pokemon rep, Fedorable Will says. True.
Yeah.
True.
I do. Yeah, I do. Agree
I
with that.
was looking for a spot to fit in a Pokemon rep, but couldn't come up with one for my list. Well, any other characters we wanna do? We talked The Mandalorian. We talked.
Star Wars is so vast.
I was about to say, there's hundreds of characters, but
yeah, sure, but big ones maybe we missed.
Exactly. Yeah, I think we've hit all the characters that I think deserve to be hit in this episode.
Well, let's do a quick recap here. For the ones we worked on as a team, for Yoda, we picked.
That was Gramps.
Gramps.
From Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yep.
For R2D2, and
that was Terrico.
Terrico for R2D2, and then Luigi for C3PO.
Palpatine is Andross.
Yep.
Did we land somewhere for Boba Fett? Vile from.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so, but that's a third party.
Yeah.
Game.
It is a third party. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's
a tough one?
Maybe that could be Samus.
I was gonna say, what about Samus? I mean,
Maybe.
she is a bounty hunter.
She is a bounty hunter. And Death Battle actually had the two fight because of how similar they are.
Yeah.
I think that's.
She is more heroic than Boba, obviously.
Definitely.
But they are ultimately still bounty hunters.
I think that they parallel each other very well.
I do too.
I'll co-sign on that.
All right, so we're going with Samus for Boba
I
Fett.
can live with that.
Chat is also okay with it. Everybody, the thumbs ups, I'd be okay with that.
And we're not talking about the thumbs down Samus. We're talking about, real Samus.
Meta Knight for The Mandalorian.
For Din Djarin, yep.
And did we have a pick for Grogu? Maybe we should do that. We have to.
For Grogu?
For like a merchandising opportunity, right?
That could be Bowser Jr. floating around in the
Mew?
clown car. Mew?
Mew's too pure.
Yeah.
So is Grogu?
No, not really. Grogu's not pure.
Grogu's a little stinker.
Grogu's cute.
He's a little stinker.
Grogu's a little jerk, and he, I don't know. I think Bowser Jr. might be a decent one. Grogu ate a frog.
Grogu ate a frog.
Dude, the
Togepi. That's a good
alone.
Togepi's a good pick from like the anime Togepi, but even that. Just the carrying around and the being a little baby. That. But I think Togepi even is not quite as mischievous. Like I look at Grogu as being like
the baby Metroid.
It's not a bad one.
I like that pick.
I mean, considering, that's not a bad one.
The baby. and paired with Samus, I mean, come on. I think I can get behind the baby Metroid. Very powerful.
Yeah.
Comes back and in the very end.
Last of his species, as Sam points out. Yeah.
I like it. All right. So there you go. That is Star Wars, cast with Nintendo characters. Did you like our picks? Did you hate our picks? Do you have your own better picks? Let us know. Reach out to us. We're on all the social medias. You can check out Nintendo Pals on Twitter, Instagram, but also hit up our Discord. We love to hear the feedback, and I'm very curious to hear what other people would cast for these characters.
Yeah.
Well, that's a wrap on Nintendo Pals podcast, episode 131. I think is what episode this is. So before we go, one more time, we'll turn it to you guys. Where can people find you on the internet?
You want me to take it? All right. We are at allnpodcast on Facebook and Twitter. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. We're there. All in a Nintendo podcast. Look up ALLN, like letter N, and you'll find us. And we also, on our social media, we have all of our links and stuff on there. We post every Saturday. We also live stream our weekly news roundup on youtube.com/allnpodcast every Friday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I guess that's it. We also have a Discord. We have a community Discord. We have
Fantastic
merch, bit.ly/allnmerch. So yeah, I think I hit it all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, Discord, Patreon. Make sure to check out our Patreon.
Yeah, we have a Patreon. Yeah.
Patreon.com/allnpodcast. We are everywhere. We're going all in on Nintendo content creation. Have done for the past 2.5 years. Thank you so much for having us on, Andross, and to all of your amazing listeners. Definitely make sure to check us out, and thank you if you already have.
Yes, there's a lot of crossover here, but there are a lot of people that listen to you guys that don't listen to us, and that listen to us and listen to you guys. Hey, we are good buddies. Let's share. Let's share in the awesomeness that is Nintendo discussion. Seth, I also want to give a shout out to you because you also are a co-host over on the Nintendo Drive. That's right. And you also host your own series, Keep Nintendo Weird. So if you want even more Seth than you get here, and you get it all in, you can get Seth for days. I mean, you could listen to Seth all day. Definitely, you could. Definitely could. There's enough content online. Yeah, I'm part of the Carpool Gaming crew as well. I co-host. That's enough, Seth.
My co-host Locklith here is in the chat saying that's enough of Seth. That's fair. Locklith probably gets enough of me every week on the Nintendo Drive for sure.
I know the feeling.
I also do a show called Keep Nintendo Weird, which is a weird Nintendo podcast about loving weird Nintendo games. That's K&W Podcast on social media. I really just post on social media when new episodes go live, though, so you're good to not follow me there if you don't want to. I understand. It's all good.
The worst ad for yourself. I don't really post much.
Listen to the show, but the social media leaves something to be desired. There's a reason Eric runs our all-in social media.
If you would like to find me on the internet, you can find me separate from this, the Nintendo Pals, at Andross1 on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. All of those places. Lots of content coming. This is the 1-year plan. I'm going to be working on releasing a video every day, practically, and mainline video every 2 weeks over on Andross 1. So, yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't already. And if you want to follow the show, like I said, Nintendo Pals, search it up. You'll find us. We're on all the podcast platforms and on most all social media apps. Thank you so much to Roger Pollard for the logo and for the intro theme music. If you want to check out more of his stuff, you can do so by clicking the links in the description or looking up A Talking Fish. Check out his apps. He makes really good games available on Android and iPhone. Alrighty. And lastly, we close out here each and every episode with our Patreon Poke Rap. The name, I always forget what it's called, but I don't forget the names of the people in it. That's right. This is a shout out to the amazing Patreon community that we have that support the show through monetary means. For as little as $3 a month, you too can become a patron and get shouted out in the Patreon Poke Rap, which we will close out with now.
We gotta rap some Patreon. You just do the singing. I'll take care of the hard part. Let's get it on.
We want to be the best that ever was. And shout out our pals over on Patreon.
LPD, Rizzle, Retrologic Day, U-Dog Gamer, Slim Tour, Spanish, and Solo Something, Brian, Little Miss 7, and Cosmic.
Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all. Patreon.
K-Mac and Team, Third Strongest Move, Tim the Nintendo Dad, and Seth Sturgill, Monkey Thunder, Purple Viola, Dat Fast John, and Lava Plays 2.
Gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all.
Yeah.
Gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all.
Yeah.
Gotta catch 'em all. Patreon. Let's get 150 or more, yeah, please. To be a Patreon donor is your destiny.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to this fantastic episode of Nintendo Pals, and we will talk to you next episode. Bye-bye.